international settlements shows the need of a bridge asset between the public and private payment infrastructure. And the central banks agree on the same point, which is the private and public partnership in the financial ecosystem. So the direction ahead is kind of clear. In the US, deadline is January 1st, 2021 for providing wallets to the citizens. And the wallets, along with the digital assets in combination, allows to shoot payments at near zero cost at any time. And that's something changing the entire system. What we have now is different. So if that is to happen, and that is really happening, right? And at the same time, if we can reach a 35% bump followed by a 130% bump, based on what we can observe from the charts, the patterns, like we may reach 0.8, and when we reach 0.8, it would be like breaking through a lot of overhead resistance zones, and that will bring in more buyers and kick back that FOMO here in XRP, bringing buyers from the small and micro cap crypto coins. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use the Patreon, PayPal or the XRP wallet address given in the description below. Patreon will allow you to access your portfolio in a different manner. So when you are looking at your portfolio in a different manner, say if you have different assets besides XRP, you can use different charts, setups, looking at how you're going to trade that market, how you're going to invest in the near future, how you're going to make more profits, right? So anyway, let's jump back into what we were discussing, right? So now, what would strict regulations look like? That's going to be a really tight question. And if something like this is going to come in through regulations looking for more transparency, then some crypto projects may have hard time, because if that's coming in, then that's going to be hard for many projects. But for critics calling us the bankers coin, that kind of becomes a bit of positive when we enter into a regulatory clarity era. Like some projects may fail due to the regulations, and regulations are, once that's coming in, it's not going to go away. And as we have that, XRP will be the better option among any crypto projects once the regulatory clarity is here. Now when we look at that, why we are already seeing positive sense from different government agencies, international organization towards payments, right? And then we see these kind of issues too cracking on privacy coins. And then the global settlement platform Ripple is actually offering many things, and if the regulatory clarity comes, this author predicts like XRP will skyrocket due to US regulations. Now we can understand that is going to be true. Why? Because as regulations emerges, the suppressed coin XRP, there is no regulatory coins and regulatory clarity, and the coin is suppressed. So once we have that clarity, it will really have a blast. I saw this tweet from XR Plumber, and it kind of led me into this particular article from BIS. And when you come to the bottom, say page number 5, you get to read this. However, in the future, as of today, recipients of large payments will prefer settlement in central bank money since it harbors no risk of default. So if they are looking for large value payments and the settlement in the central bank digital currency, then they would actually need something different, right? If we were able to build a bridge between private blockchain networks and existing payment infrastructure, DLT based trade could be settled in central bank money. So if they are looking at central bank money and different ledgers, DLT ledgers of different companies, and they want to solve large payment issues, if they have a efficient bridge, a neutral and efficient bridge, they can do that easily, right? So the payment experts are therefore investigating what is known as trigger solution, a concept that would allow smart contracts to trigger conventional target 2 transactions. So if you actually look at Flare, which is bringing the best of Ethereum, which is the smart contracts, into the best ever designed digital asset, which is XRP. XRP, everything about XRP is special because it was designed to solve that use case, which is payments. And if we are taking that smart contracts and putting that on XRP ledger, the guys who are into that payments can now use this, right? So that could be the trigger solution. So if that is triggering what we are looking at, that would be a blast, right? So ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be that trigger we are waiting. Now we all understand that Flare is going to be going live by this year, December 12th. They are going to distribute the tokens, Spark, and they're going to initiate their project in a positive manner. So once that is going to happen, slowly, first thing you have to understand is if that is the deadline, I don't personally think that the price pump would happen after that. Why? Because we are all anticipating that that particular event would be taking the price higher. But usually what happens is they sell the news. So before that news, the anticipation builds the price to the upside. It kind of pushes the price to the upside. Say this is a 2-hour chart of XRP. And if you actually look at that, we are kind of moving in a pattern which is kind of showing that we may actually move 5 to 6% or even 7% to the upside as we break above 0.246, which is acting as a resistance, overhead resistance now. But if this is going to blast from here it would be like we are going to move to the upside around 0.3, 0.32 range. And we can actually notice that entire area till 0.3 is acting resistance. If you look at here, you can actually understand, say once we broke this area, this was a support, right? We went back, we kind of invalidated that resistance and came back below that. Now that was during a bear market, right? After putting in the highs, going through the distribution phase and all. Now you can see that the price came here, it was getting support, like previously it was a support, and then while coming back it was acting as a support. As it broke to the downside, it found a next support here. Then whenever the price is expected to be a support, you can see that in green, and when it is going to the upside and acting as a resistance, it's in red. So in this case, there was a support here, the price broke below that, then again came, retested that couple of times and then broke into that. Now the question is, will something like this happen, break below and move to the lower side? Now looking at the patterns, say for example, if you look at this particular area and the RSI, we were not actually looking at a return here. Now similar pattern is emerging here, but by that time we were already way below that support area. So if we are going to get the bounce from here, that would be taking us to 0.5. Why? Looking at the larger scenario on a 3-day chart, the support area lies here. Now if we actually go in, zoom out, you can actually see the previous price fluctuation in this particular area. So if we are to get a bounce from here, it would be more or less around 30-35%, which takes us to the neckline of this rounded bottom pattern. Or if you can draw it a little different, you may see a little different pattern similar to the cup and handle and other stuff. But thing of the target is actually similar, 30-35%, and then a 130% after the break of this particular pattern. So as the news emerges, like we are going to get a real bridge between both the private, which is the private blockchain projects, and the government blockchain era, which is the central bank digital currency itself, we can actually say that too, because in the BIS document itself, we are getting that in the alternatives to the CBDC. So if they are looking at the alternative to the CBDC, due to the risks quoted here, which we all know, if a government is coming up with a retail central bank digital currency, the level of information which government can access through that would be too high. So in that aspect, this is not going to be good for majority of the population in their own perspective, right? If you look at Facebook, last issue of privacy was like, you gave our information to an institution in UK. So they were actually looking at that in an aspect like, no, you can't actually share our information without our approval. So if you look at that, The same thing would be here, acting here, wherever you are traveling, the payments you are making, whatever you're doing, the e-commerce, you're online, ordering online something and all, every transaction would be connected directly to the government. So if the government really want to block you instantly using that wallet, everything, now imagine the cash is not there, right? So transactions happening in cash is no more there in that aspect. Since it's that case, if government wants to say, I don't want that guy to buy grocery, it will be happening reality. They'll just block your wallet ID and it won't be working. Now that's just the negative worst case scenario, right? But still the risks involved are there, and that's why politicians may actually come in and show this kind of a perspective, and we are getting traction in that aspect too. France, Central Bank of France, is kind of highlighting that the public private partnership would be the best way to issue a central bank digital currency. So they are not going to look at entire alternative to the CBDC. Instead, they are looking at a CBDC which incorporates their power, which is the issuance power of the central bank, governing power of the central bank, and then it incorporates a private institution to execute the payments, to follow up things and provide that infrastructure. Ripple, the company, provides that infrastructure using ILP, which is bridging between public and private. It can actually go through all the different ledgers. Now if they move value between them, the native asset for XRP ledger, which will be connected to the ILP, is already XRP. Now even if you want to use other assets, I remind you, in XRP ledger, if you send BTC to ETH, it's cool, BTC will go into ETH. It won't be happening directly. It would be first going through that bridge asset, which is the XRP. As it happens instantly at near zero cost, the sender wouldn't even notice that it is going through XRP, and that's been stated previously too, right? XRP will be used, even universally used, but invisible. Majority won't even understand that it's happening. So the role of blockchain and digital assets in cross-border payments is really important. Because why we are all talking about this? Because we really understand that this digital technology is evolving and laying the groundwork for fintech 2.0 with digital assets look really cool. Because when you come here and read this, one of the biggest use case among adopters, we are talking about what? The digital assets, fintechs and all. So for one of the biggest use case among adopters so far has been in payments and remittance arena. So who actually targets this particular market? Precisely, the remittance, cross-border payments. Who look at that? With another camp of clients wielding the technology to use digital assets as a means of stored value for trading. So one is for payments, remittance, and the other one is for securities aspect, the trading. We already know that the back-end settlement process, the trading, forex, and other stuff, that's also happening. DTCC chief came out and highlighted 1.6 quadrillion processed previously. Wow. Now these are huge market value when we talk, but it won't be like we are going to get that immediately. But if we have the regulatory clarity, that can happen. We can't deny that. Now as we move and understand, Ripple partnership is extending, right? Here MoneyGram is extending into Uganda's largest commercial bank. Wow. So when we say that these regions, they are not underbanked, but we can say yes underbanked, no underbanked, because the country already have adopted to technology, mobile banking, but it's in a different perspective. Like in China, Alipay, WeChat Pay and all, it kind of works with those technology providers. So if you are allowing that banking technology in there, the financial inclusion side of it also kicks in, and that's really a positive news for governments as they look at blockchain, financial inclusion and other stuffs. That becomes cool. And here in this particular article in Ripple Insights, when you come down, you can see this. At Ripple, our mission is to remove friction from global payments and enable money to move the same way the information moves today. We all understand, right? Digital instant, and everything which a payment network needs. So we work with banks and payment providers to modernize legacy system using blockchain and digital assets. So whatever we read here from the central banks, Bank of International Settlement, and other article, everything connect directly towards Ripple, the fintech, providing the digital asset which can solve these issues. Now, Uphold's website, when you come into that, cryptocurrency for commerce, e-commerce, right? When we look at this, we understand if you look at that particular category, it is Uphold is already connected to the Interledger protocol, and if they are getting into the e-commerce side of it, it's really going to increase or expand the use case of ILP. They can bring in more and more nodes in that ILP, and the network will increase. So as the network increases, the value also increases, right? So the adoption in this side, crypto technology, blockchain and all, it's really increasing. Bitstamp implements Nasdaq's order matching engine technology. Now, why would they do something like this if there is less or reducing demand for the exchange and the digital assets, as the exchange is seeing increasing volume? Now, if you look at different exchanges, say eToro, Binance, others, they would be highlighting the same. They are getting more and more customers now. So if you look at 2017, something similar happened way before the price pumped. So if the price this time has to pump, it should be reaching new level, right? And we can understand the account creation in XRP, BTC, ETH and all are increasing substantially, and we are moving into the new era. So when we say we are moving into the new era, it kind of becomes, the norm, and it's from different central banks like France, ECB, US, everyone is coming out and stating the same. And what's Christine Lagarde highlighting here? Listen to that, just a couple of seconds.
Discuss digitalization and the impact that it has from a monetary policy point of view, and I have in mind obviously such matters as the payment system, the euro digital currency possibly.
So just 10 seconds connected everything we just talked here, right? Digitalization, payments networks and all for monetary policy. Now that's what we were actually talking about. Now, central bank is the one who controls the money flow in a country, connecting the inflation targets and other stuff, just changing the markets. If you look at US, you can understand Fed was printing a hell lot of money, and that's the only reason the stock markets are moving to the upside, or at least housing market and other markets are still floating, only because the printer is still working. If that stops, that's it. The good story ends there, right? Even if they slow down, the economy will actually jump from that cliff. Not even required to pull it down. It will just jump from there, that's for sure. And if we are looking at this, they are also talking about possible digital euro. That's the central bank digital currency itself, right? So they are looking at this on a monetary policy view, and it's going to be implemented soon. And that's, there is no doubt about it. This is not for you guys, that's for Adam. So we'll jump back to what we were discussing, right? The price fluctuation, the fundamentals. Now, these were the charts which I already prepared for you guys. Now we actually look at the reality, which is the current price fluctuation, what happened in last hour and other stuff. So when we look at hourly chart of XRP, zoom in, this is what we can see. And based on that, it's clear we are making a pattern here, and the pattern hasn't broke to the upside or downside. So unless that happens, you have to understand where we are headed, right? So now if you look at this, we are still flirting with the upper area or the resistance area of this particular pattern. When we move to the downside and we spend more time there, remember the chances are that we may break to the downside. But right now we are above the moving average, and we are coming back and retesting the moving average zone on a shorter time frame, right? So the chances are still there that we may push to the upside. But if we cross to the downside, then we may actually come back and retest the support. If you actually go back on a say 3-day or a weekly chart, a long time frame chart, so this is a daily chart, right? We'll jump into 3-day chart. So when you actually jump into the 3-day chart, what you can see is that the price is still above the 50-day moving average but below the 20 and 200-day moving average, right? So if the price is to cross to the upside with 20 and 200, that's going to be a bullish symbol. And yes, we already understand that whenever that happens, the price pulls back. I showed you guys previously, right? So that is kind of, you just take your arms back before you punch to gain that momentum, right? And if that's happening on a 3-day, you will get a cross of bullish cross on a weekly chart too. Now these are the bullish symbol which we have to focus on as we look at the support resistance zone and understand at what are the possible levels where the price may correct if you are trading the market, if you are holding, if you are an investor here for next 5 years, 10 years, at least 3 years. These levels is like just to watch and understand how the price is actually reflecting, meaning how the buyers are affecting the market, the news, how they are digesting it. So that's going to be cool. Everything should be cool based on that. So guys, that's all for today, and if you saw value, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use the Patreon, PayPal or XRP wallet address in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.